Good day, good people. As you know, I always speak facts. There's nothing else that I speak. I only speak facts. I only teach facts. I only teach anything that will liberate you. I don't want to teach you things that will waste your time. I don't want to teach you things that don't exist. I don't want to just talk for the fun of it, just to make you feel like I said something and then it does not help you at the end of the day. Today I want to talk. I want us to talk about something very important. As you know, last time I spoke facts. I spit fire about the brokers. I told you a lot about the brokers, the A books, the B books. I told you all these things, but this time I want to tell you something that is more interesting, something that can make you benefit more in your trading. So I think let's get down to it. So I'll be doing a little bit of teaching today. Um, I'll be doing a little bit of teaching today. Something very interesting will be happening today. Let me just say Refoi. Yeah, I'll be doing something interesting. I don't know how big it looks on your side. Let me just, yeah. So today we're talking about something very important, something that I was also taught by my mentor, but I then purified. Remember, the purpose of the mentor is not really to spoon feed you and give you everything. It's for him to give you direction. It's not necessarily to give you all the things, because of then he will be messing up. He'll be creating a slave mentality that will never work. So the mentor is just to adjust your brain to work, to spark something in your brain, to spark. So your mentor might not change the world, but he will spark something in your brain that can make you change the world. So there is someone like me, I'm here to spark something inside of you. I'm here to make you to do more research. I want you to go deeper. You see, I'm like a teacher at school. You can ask yourself, but your teacher, why is he always just teaching you? The thing, they just want to spark. You must go out there and apply. We are professors. We've been in the game for a long time. I've been trading for 9 years now, so you can just imagine. So I want you to go forward and go with the baton. Take over the baton, go forward and push and push. So I'll always be there. If you have any questions, you can always comment. I'll answer you if there's a question that you want to. But even if you don't have any questions, just comment, say something nice. I read these things and I'm happy. I can see that I'm doing an impact. And I've proven that I've got an audience. So today I'll be talking about something that I call dimensions. So there are 3 dimensions of trading. 3 dimensions. So 3 dimensions of forex trading, even in stock trading, but for this purpose we'll talk about forex trading, the 3 dimensions of forex trading. So what you must understand is that when I'm talking about dimensions, I'm talking about something beyond levels. This is not levels, we're talking about dimensions. If 90% of traders are losing 90% of their capital in 90 days, then you need to be knowing what the 10% is doing, or the 1%. So when we talk about the 1%, we're talking about people who have secret knowledge. So they are operating in a different dimension that is different from the loser. So if you want to know what the 90% is doing, I will not teach you that. But if you want to know what the 10% is doing, what the winners are doing, you must know about the 3 dimensions of forex trading. You probably know all of them, but you're not operating in them. So you can know the dimensions. You can know the existence of the dimensions, but you may not be operating in those dimensions. As a matter of fact, most traders are operating in one of the dimensions. So me, I'm operating in 3 dimensions at once. So it's a 3D. So when you see just a piece of the market, I see the whole picture, because I'm operating in a 3D dimension. I see all the sides. That's why people like to say, man, how did you know that this thing will go up when everyone says it's going down? It's because they're operating in 1 dimension. I want you to start operating in 3 dimensions. The first dimension, let's break it down. The first dimension is the one that many people are operating in. And even when they're operating in it, they're operating in it very wrong. The technical dimension. So in the technical, by the way, I'm going to make 3 more videos that will be explaining every dimension in detail. For now, I'm just giving you, an overview of all the dimensions. So the first dimension is technical dimension. So the technical dimension. So in the technical dimension, basically these people who operate in this dimension, they believe that people who are one-dimensional, people who operate only in the technical dimension, they believe that forget about any other dimension. Technical dimension is the one. So they are using indicators or price action. So basically, they've got tools that they are using. And since I'm operating in all of the dimensions, I've got also tools. For those who've been following me for the longest will tell you about my tools that I've got, that I've created for the technical dimension traders, the stochastics and everything. So those tools, they will tell you, or they will try to tell you, at least forecast the future using past data. They are mathematical. These guys, they're mathematical. And then I'll give you an example of the indicators that they are using. For example, the stochastic. You'll find the CCI, you'll find the RSI, you'll find the moving average. There's so many more. You'll find the Fib, the Fibonacci. There are so many. These ones that I've listed are the ones that make sense. There are many more actually. There's Bollinger Bands. There are so many more, and obviously price action, which is an indicator in itself. Price action is just that it's not a tool, it's everything, it's naked. You're just looking at the prices. When we talk about the Harami, the morning stars, the inverted hammers, those are indicators. But people are thinking they're looking for the tools. Then they say no, indicators don't work. But they are using price action as a form of an indicator. So that's more or less. There's more. There's many more indicators that the technical dimension traders are using. Let's go to the second dimension now. Remember, I want you to operate in all of the dimensions. So let's go to the next dimension. The second dimension is a fundamental dimension, and this is one dimension that many people, they say they are into, but they really are not into. They don't know anything. People think going on the news website and they think that's fundamental trading, looking at events and everything. No. Fundamental trading is very deep. We talk about macroeconomics. I'm going to tell you more about that. Don't worry about this one. Fundamental dimension, I'll tell you more about it. I'll make a video called the crash course of fundamentals, where I'll be explaining now, such as we'll be talking about the GDP. We'll talk more about the PPI. We'll talk more about the CPI, retail sales. We'll talk very difficult things that we'll be talking about, very powerful business confidence. We'll be talking very serious things there on the next video that I'll make a crash course, because I think many people, yes, they may be operating also in the fundamental, but they are lacking. Many traders who say they know fundamentals, they are lacking. They are lying. They are lacking. They don't have the skill. They don't have the skill. So since I'm racing against time, I don't like to make the videos very long, so I'm just racing against time, so that you can also watch the videos. But as I said, I'm just making an overview of all the dimensions. Okay, the other dimension, the third dimension now. The other dimension. Rest assured, these are not the only dimensions. There are actually 4 dimensions, but these are the 3 dimensions that I was taught by my mentor, and they made me win. I came up with the 4th dimension because of I saw, and I called it the intuitive dimension. When I say forget about everything, follow your intuition, and that's deep now, and that comes with experience, because of once you are operating in all dimensions for some time, you're operating the technical dimension, fundamental dimension, the 3rd dimension, the sentimental dimension. The sentimental dimension. So I'm sure if you're operating in all dimensions for a couple of months, somewhere, somehow, you'll just operate, with experience, intuitively. The market will be it will become, I call it, it develops a rhythm. So meaning when the market is going up, it's inhaling. When it's going down, for example, just look at this. So when the market is going up, it's inhaling. It's going down, it's exhaling. It's inhaling. So everything, so each and every single thing now, it starts to connect with you, it starts to become natural with you. So it's powerful. Sentimental dimension. When we talk about sentimental dimension, we're talking about something very important, guys. Very, very powerful. Those are powerful facts. Sentimental dimension. So sentimental dimension, it says, what are traders doing? What is the majority of traders doing? What is the 90% doing? The 90% that is losing their 90% capital in 90 days. What are they doing? We were all part of that 90%, by the way. We all start from the 90% there. So what are they doing? And after you know what they're doing, so if you know that Euro USD, there's 70% of people buying it and 30% of people shorting it, at least you have an idea of where you're going. So yeah, I'll teach you about also this one, because it's also very advanced. It's very advanced, this one. You can take it very light and think, no, because 70% high. This one, we call it the COT report. This is a commitment of traders report. So when you talk about the commitment of traders report now, the commitment of traders report is a report that comes out every week. It comes from the CFTC, the body, one of the body. I told you about this body in the last video, the regulatory body. It takes out this report called the commitment of traders report. So commitment of traders report is a very powerful report because of it will tell you each and every week how many people are buying what and how many people are selling what. So at least we have an idea of where the market is going to, so yeah, that's more of it. So you need to be able to operate in all these dimensions. The first dimension, you need to be operating the technical dimension, you need to be operating the fundamental dimension, you need to be operating the sentimental dimension. I am going to make a video specifically on the fundamental dimension. The technical dimension, I'll touch on it, but I feel like there's so many experts in the technical world, but there are not so many in the fundamental and sentimental. I will touch on the fundamental dimension. I will tell you more about the microeconomics. Now we'll talk about macroeconomics. So when we talk about macroeconomics, by the way, these things that I'm talking about, these are very, very powerful dimensions. So when you are operating, on one dimension alone, sometimes you can see a buy. When you're operating on two, you can be confused. But when you're operating on all of them, you have a clear direction, like it or not. So that is why I can come and defy another trader and say, no, this guy is talking nonsense. This thing will never go down. It's going to go up. And they say, what? Everything he says is going to go up. And it's not everything. It's talking about just, the price action. Fundamental now. It says, hey, this is not what's going to be happening. So you need to be operating in all dimensions. Guys, I'm done. Please leave a comment, say something nice, like the video, subscribe. I'm making another video just after this now, talking about fundamental dimension. How can you trade using the fundamental dimension? I'll go deeper into this GDP, PPI, CPI. I'll tell you exactly what you must look for you to buy or sell. And then I'll tell you more on how to, tackle the sentimental dimension. Thank you so much, guys. Beautiful. Let's work. Power.